I think it's important to realize how we got here, right? I served in Congress for 2.5 years, and one of the first hearings that we ever had, the ranking member of this committee, not this one, said that Republicans were imagining a border crisis, right? Kind of a stark commentary from the ranking member when all evidence seemed to suggest and show that there was indeed a border crisis where millions of people were pouring in illegally. And one of the concerns of that, not only from the illegal side that Mr. Knott talked about, but the legal side too. Ms. Vaughn, it seems to me that the evidence suggests that the Biden administration kind of flooded the zone a little bit, and there weren't adequate checks on the people that were going through the visa process normally. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that. They implemented through Secretary Mayorkas a get-to-yes culture. We're instructed to minimize vetting and to approve, as a default. I'm discouraged from referring cases to fraud. They were not allowed to issue notices to appear for failed benefit applicants. So they sort of took away the consequence of filing a frivolous application by letting people who were here illegally applied for visas, and the few that were denied, nothing happened to them. And that created a huge impetus to apply for some of these visa programs that people, really wouldn't even claim to qualify for, but they knew by just filing the application, they could get a work permit and protection for deportation. And that just destroys the integrity of the system, and it makes legal applicants have to wait longer for the benefits that they deserve.
Correct, and now we're forced with figuring out whether people are categorized in the right place, right? Whether they were even lawfully allowed to get the visa that they were supposed to receive.
That's right. There have been people whose lawful status has been held back by all these frivolous applications, and people who have either received them already fraudulently, or who are on waiting lists and who have work permits who shouldn't have them at all.
When it comes to vetting, obviously the Biden administration rescinded Trump's prior executive order from his first term that kind of strengthened the visa process. But the new executive order under President Trump called for maximum vetting and ordered reviews of countries with poor screening and ergo travel suspensions, of course. Mr. Hankinson, can a restriction on a country be lifted? And how would that look? I guess when they would comply and have adequate background checks of their own citizens, that would be a reason why a country that is on that list could now be allowed into the country.
If they would take all of their citizens back when we asked them to was one factor. The overstay rate in some of these countries for Chad, it was 50%. So out of every 2 people issued a visa, 1 doesn't come back. Maybe it's time to rethink that one. If they got their house in order, if their central agencies were able to issue credible documents and verify criminal records, I would assume that they could be let back in.
Mr. Hankinson, would you agree that our foreign adversaries exploit our immigration system? And if you do agree with that, how so?
Absolutely. Well, we know that the Chinese have spied on American companies, American universities, and the American government. Obviously, it's not all of them. It's just a small percentage, but that's all you need. We know that the Russians have done the same, the Cubans. It's a very easy country to get into, or at least it has been.
Mr. Brown, does the current executive order by President Trump, do you believe that closes security gaps more effectively than the previous administration's approach?
Maybe, but I think what the Trump administration has is some wonderful statutes that you all have already passed and gives them wide latitude to enforce some of these laws. You just brought up the fact, what do we do with all those people who came in under the Biden administration through legal channels and weren't eligible? In my opinion, the Trump administration tomorrow should stand up a permanent revocation division inside USCIS and look at these applications that went through. Number 2, the other thing they can do right now is for a lot of the victims who have been personally harmed by these foreign nationals, there is an existing process in place with the Board of Immigration Appeals that allows them to appeal their I-130 petitions based on fraud. That's something they can implement right now. There's no other statute that needs to be done.
Thank you for that. Ms. Vaughn, regarding President Trump's current executive order, do you believe that if we had this in place during the Biden administration, that ICE would not have had to apprehend 11 Iranian nationals this past Sunday, one of them being a former Army sniper? for the IRGC?
Well, I mean, it's hard to know, but I do believe that there would have been, the ones who came over the border are more likely to have been stopped, and the ones who came on visas are less likely to have been able to get those visas. I mean, really, since we don't have a machine that can read people's minds, the best defense against allowing people to enter who mean our country harm is to have routine, across-the-board immigration enforcement that will ensnare the threats as well as the people who are committing fraud or simply don't qualify.
I agree with you, and including a purview of their social media, which
Indeed.
would have shown, at least with the Boulder, Colorado
Yes,
individual,
yes.
sharing Muslim Brotherhood propaganda. With that, I see my time has expired.